Evening Lecture and Nayudamma Award 2014. I now request the dignitaries to please take their seats on the dais. Shri M. Venkataya Naidu, Dr. Kande Kola M. Kella, Dr. M.Y.S. Prasad, Dr. Alam Appa Rao, Srimati Deepa Venkat, Dr. A. Jagadeesh. Please, sir. To pay floral tributes to the portrait of Dr. Y. Nayudamma. Thank you. I now call upon Dr. A. Jagadeesh, Director, Nayudamma Center for Development Alternatives, to welcome the gathering and to say a few words about the award.
Minister for Urban Development and Parliamentary Affairs, Sri Venkaya Naidu Garu, SHAR Director, Dr. M.Y.S. Prasad, CRO Institute for Statistics, Dr. Alam Appa Rao Garu, Deepa Venkat Garu, recipient of 2004 award, Dr. Kande Yumkela, distinguished invitees, ladies and gentlemen. As you are perhaps aware, late Professor Y. Nayudamma was a scientist par excellence, a great humanist, and above all, a person with unusual tolerance and uncommon common sense. He held many important positions, such as the director of this institute. Later, he became Director General of Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. He was also Vice Chancellor of Jawaharlal Nehru University, Delhi. He was also Senior Advisor to UNIDO, Consultant FAO, and also President of Committee on Science and Technology in Developing Countries. He had a passion for science for the people. When he was the Director General of CSIR, he brought in a paradigm shift from what is known as scientist science to people's science. I had the privilege of associating with Professor Y. Nayudamma for over a decade, during which time I learned many things from him. To perpetuate the memory of the great scientist, we have founded Nayudamma Center for Development Alternatives in Nellore, and we have been annually conducting Nayudamma Memorial Lectures followed by Nayudamma Award. So far, 19 people have been awarded this Nayudamma Award, which includes Dr. K. Kasturirangan, former Chairman ISRO, Professor Duranamraju Krishna Rao, former Biotechnology Advisor to former US President Mr. Bill Clinton, Professor P. Ramarao, former Vice Chancellor, University of Hyderabad, Professor P. Ramchandra Rao, former Vice Chancellor of Benares Indian University, Professor R. Natarajan, former Chairman, AICTE, Dr. Kirith Parikh, former Member, Planning Commission, Professor Govardhan Mehta, former Director, Indian Institute of Science, Dr. Anil Kakotkar, former Chairman, Atomic Energy Commission, and at the abroad level, we have also given the award to Professor T. Nezat Viziroglu, who is the President of International Association for Hydrogen Energy, and also to Professor Bernard Amadei, Engineers Without Borders President, University of Colorado, Boulder, and also to Gaud Jasman, former Vice Chancellor, University of Malaya. And also, one of the recipients of this award is Dr. M.S. Prasad. Also, we have given to Dr. S. Ayappan, who is the Director General of ICR presently, and also to Infosys Chief at that time, he was Nandan Nilekani, and also to S. Ramadurai, TCS Chief. For this year, we have been very fortunate enough to present the award to the UN Under-Secretary General, Dr. Kande Yumkala, a person who distinguished himself as an administrator, as a scientist. He's a gem from Sierra Leone, and he has the distinction of becoming one of the youngest Director Generals of UNIDO at the age of 44. Professor Nayudamma still holds a record of youngest director of a CSIR lab at the age of 35, and also youngest Director General of CSIR at the age of 49. Also, we have been involved, our center has been involved in appropriate technology, sustainable development, and also energy and environment. Towards this end, we have over 25 innovations ranging from solar, wind, sustainable development, and so on and so forth. Ours has been a 3D approach: design, demonstrate, and disseminate. And our programs have received worldwide acclaim in that mostly we have not taken patents, and all the technology is available free in the internet. So, with these few remarks, I will request the chairman to conduct the proceeding. Thank you very much.
Shri M. Venkaya Naidu. Dr. Kande Kole Yumkela. Dr. M.Y.S. Prasad. Dr. Alam Apparao. Srimati Deepa Venkat. Dr.A.Jagadeesh. Honorable Minister, Urban Development, Parliamentary Affairs, Government of India, as the chief guest of today's function. I now request Shri M. Venkaya Naidu to deliver the presidential address.
Respected Dr. K. Yumkela, Special Emissary of the Secretary General of the United Nations Organizations and CEO of Sustainable Energy for All Initiative, Dr. Jagadeesh, who is the organizer of this Nayudamma Award function, Dr. Prasad, one of our great scientists now, Dr. Apparao Garu, and then my daughter, Deepa. I don't know why they called her. She's doing a little bit of social service. At the outset, I'd like to share with you, I'm really feeling privileged for being invited to this function of memory of a great scientist, honoring another great scientist by many of the scientists who have assembled here. Brothers and sisters, I'm extremely happy to take part in this program. Right from my student days, we used to hear about Dr. Nayudamma. He is one of the gems that India has produced. We just now heard at the age of 35, he could attain that position. So he is a shining example to the new generation of scientists that if one works hard, you can reach such levels. The Prime Minister of India is also keen that these youngsters, they should achieve great heights and they should shoulder the responsibilities, they engage and then contribute to the society, because the fresh ideas, new ideas, innovative ideas, and all will be coming from the young minds. This is not to undermine experience. Experience and energy, there must be synergy between these two, and then they must work for the betterment of the society. Friends, this 20th award function and we are giving to a distinguished recipient of this award. This itself speaks that the selection process is very apt, and they are selecting able people, great scientists here. So I am really happy on that count also. There are commonalities because Dr. Nayudamma, who is one of the distinguished scientists and also administrators of our country, is a name by himself, not only attached with the CLRI, but also even the universities, and a name known nationally and internationally. And here we have a person whom you are giving this award, Dr. Emukella. Dr. Nayudamma has dedicated his life for promotion of leather industry and tanneries. Traditionally, the poor belonging to the weaker sections were dependent on leather works. Being an accomplished chemical scientist, Dr. Nayudamma strived for improving the lot of those people, while he could have pursued a much more lucrative research career. He has chosen this responsibility to better the living conditions of the ordinary people, the suppressed, the depressed, the oppressed people. Only persons with social consciousness and empathy for the poor would do so. Otherwise, people would have thought of a better career, a lucrative career. But Nayudamma has chosen to be this field. Dr. Nayudamma, as Director General of Central Leather Research Institute, pioneered effective liaison with the industry, thereby leveraging significant contribution in research and development and technology transfer. This was a manifestation of his vision. This liaison with industry is still to be applied by the present-day academic and research institutions to its full potential. Dr. Nayudamma's life and professional career was a saga of adopting science and technology for the betterment of the society. Dr. K. Emukella is in the same mold. He is currently heading the UN initiative for ensuring access to the much-needed energy for all. Per capita energy consumption has come to be prime indicator of equality of modern life. In the global scenario marked by inequity, vast majority of the people are denied the desired level of access to such life-determining energy. With his proven empathy and concern for the deprived, Dr. Emukella shares the philosophy of Dr. Nayudamma. I compliment Nayudamma Center for Development Alternatives for choosing Dr. Emukella for this year's award, because both of them having the same philosophy and has worked, and now this man is working for the same cause. I am also delighted to know Dr. Emukella was the Minister for Trade, Industry and State Enterprise. We are fortunate to have scientists also as ministers, because ministers normally in India, half of them are illiterates. Not in academic sense, but in other sense also. But in a life, I am here in CLRI. This is a place of learning. And everybody in life, including ministers, should go on learning, not earning. The Republic of Sierra Leone during 94-95, he was a minister. Besides being a distinguished academician, he had very meaningful and long association with UNIDO, United Nations Industrial Development Organization, rising to be its Director General for 2 terms. Dr. Nayudamma also was associated with UNIDO as a senior advisor. Dr. Emukella has been associated with a pioneering UN report that highlighted the lack of access to energy as a crucial constraint for development efforts, and now is pursuing the global mission for enabling energy access to all. So you are doing a great job. Wish you all the best. Friends, rapid economic development has come to be an imperative need across the world for creating more and more opportunities for the aspiring people. But we need to ensure that this process of development does not result in further the already existing social and economic inequalities. It must percolate down. It must reach the last man, Our leader, philosopher, Dr. Pandit Deendayal Upadhyaya said, Antyodaya, uplift the poorest of the poor first. Even Swami Vivekananda also said people should live for others. And everybody's concern should be to uplift the poorest of the poor. So science and technology, the very aim should be to better the living condition of the people, for advancements of human life. That should be the motto of the science. It's a matter of serious concern that even after 67 years of independence in India, 58% of the people do not have access to banking services. Practically, we have adopted a financial untouchability. This is a word used by Honorable Prime Minister. He said this financial untouchability is not acceptable. You cannot have 57%, 58% of the people not having access to banking services. So one day in the cabinet he told us, we must see to it that everybody comes into the fold and then there must be an inclusive financial system. So we said, sir, we can do it in 5 years. PM said, 5 years. I said, sir, if 50 years they could not do it, then 5 years is a great job. He said, no, it should be done in 1 year. We were all surprised. Some of us were skeptical. How can it be done in 1 year? Because reaching to 10 crore people who do not have bank account is not an easy thing. He said it should be 1 year. But friends, I can tell you that within 7 weeks, today is the 7th week, 7 weeks of launching this Pradhana Mantri Jana Dhana Yojana. Today, the yesterday's evening figure is 6 crore 99 lakh people have been covered. In 7 weeks, 6 crore and 99 lakh people have been covered. That shows where there is a will, there is a way. So that is the latest example now, because the Prime Minister is concerned about the financial inclusion, is concerned about the upliftment and betterment of the poorest of the poor in India, and then these initiatives which he is taking nowadays are all in the direction of the uplifting of the poorest of the poor and bettering the living conditions of the common people of this country. Friends, our government's aim is that the benefits of development should reach the last man. That is the aim. So aim of scientists also should be the science and technology should be focused for the betterment of the people. They are great scientists have done a great job. They are doing a great job. They are doing a great job also. But people, they are now with having high expectations. That's why Prime Minister gave a 3S mantra. He said skill, scale and speed. Skill, scale and speed. So that is the need of the hour, the skill, scale and speed. He has also, driven by the passion to ensure all-round development of our country, the Prime Minister suggested a strategy of MISI-DC. He didn't use the word MISI-DC. I have given that nomenclature, but actual idea is his. He said, what is MISI-DC? MI, Make in India. SI, Skill India. DI, Digital India. CI, Clean India. That is MISI-DC. The Prime Minister, his phrase is mine, but the idea is his. The ultimate objective of the R&D efforts shall be empowerment and betterment of the common man and the poor. Science and technology has a crucial role to play in respect of all these components. Without that, scientific research and development has no meaning and no relevance. People are saying, these people sit in some closed doors and they'll be doing some research and all. What is it we have to do with that? That is the thinking of the common man. But now they are realizing with the new innovations that are taking place, the great efforts is made in space research, the way our people are, the SHAR, the ISRO, they're all working. Really, we feel proud. They're doing an excellent job. Friends, this research also should understand there is a basic inherent strength in our Indian society. 5,000 years of our civilization, our forefathers who have lived for ages, they have developed so many things through their personal experience. And then they have given us this heritage and culture and this work. So we have to now harness nature, culture, and then go for a better future. Nature, culture, move towards a better future. The inherent strength of India, the taddy tapper, the goldsmith, the blacksmith, the barber, even the dhobi, everybody else, the cook, everybody has got a skill in his because of this land. That's a greatness for us. And now the scientists should think always of how to make work of a farmer, work of an artisan, and work of a laborer much easier, and his life that much better. That should be the motto. This social consciousness shall invariably guide our scientific and technological advancements. These concerns were the driving forces of Dr. Nayudamma, Dr. Emukalla. This spirit shall permeate across all scientists and researchers and technology makers. Our government is taking some important initiatives to improve the quality of academic learning. Panels of reputed scientists are being drawn up for assigning them for teaching. Scholarships are being enhanced to promote pursuit of research. More initiatives will be launched. Coming back to energy consumption, I have had the occasion to see a presentation by Infosys only the day before in my office in Delhi. They made a presentation. I called some of my colleagues, 4 of my ministers also were there together. Infosys has adopted building design, construction and maintenance practices at their establishments across the country in such a way that they facilitate living in harmony with the nature. I was surprised by the results they reported to a group of ministers. Infosys has accomplished about 60% saving in energy consumption, 34% in water consumption, besides realizing zero waste discharge. We really salute those people. So unfortunately, our standard building and construction plans are aimed at making dark rooms which warrant high energy consumption even for air and light. We have light. Fortunately, in India, when I go abroad, people used to say, initially, I couldn't understand. They used to say, oh, thank God, today is a sunny day. I couldn't understand it. What is sunny day? Sunny day we have seen, but not sunny day. So then I realized, they said, no, it's not bright today. So then I realized in India, 365 days, sunny days. Every day is a sunny day. We have the nature. Nature has been kind to us. The biodiversity we have. And this light we have. We could have really done wonders by going for solar energy, creation, then storage, and then proper distribution, then LED, then we should have gone for water harvesting, then water recycling. Utilizing the natural wealth that is given to us in a better manner. Science and technology plays an important role. These friends, unfortunately, as I told you, we are making dark rooms which warrant high energy consumption even for air and light. Given the depleting reserves of limited fossil fuels, there is a need for a paradigm change in our thinking and approaches. We are using coal exhaust. You exhaust the coal, then afterwards, what will be your goal? We have to understand. So we have to go for innovative things, and then fuel consumption has to be considerably reduced, and it should be available to the ordinary people, because without fuel, without energy, you cannot have any development. Power is very, very important. When I say power, not the power which we are having, the political power. I'm talking of the power, energy to the common people. Without energy, without power, you can't live. Politicians cannot live without power. That's a different matter, some of them. But the people, ordinary people, cannot live without power every day. Our life is interconnected with power. You can live without wife, but there is no life without power. My wife is not here, but I don't mind. My daughter has no habit of conveying something against me, so I am rest assured. Power is very, very important in life and in development, in industrialization, in agriculture, in sericulture, in pisciculture, in aquaculture. In our culture, now power has started playing an important role. So that being the case, today, friends, our country needs smart leadership both in social, economic, political, academic and scientific domains. Leader do not mean a politician. A scientist is a great leader. Dr. Prasad is a great leader. Dr. Apparao is a great leader. The person whom we are felicitating today, Dr. Emukalla, is a great leader. We should take inspiration because they are working for the common good of the people, common good of the humanity. They are showing the light. Whoever shows the light, whoever is innovative, whoever invents something which is for the betterment of the people, they are called as leaders, not simple political leaders alone. On the social and the political front, the people of our country found one such smart leader in Sri Narendra Modi. Modi means 3D. Decisive, dynamic, development-oriented. 3 in 1, that is Narendra Modi. That is the situation now today. The entire country is now enthused. They are confident. Earlier they were worried about their future, but now they are confident. We need to keep up and take further the legacy of stalwarts like Dr. Nayudamma. We need to elevate our conscience to a higher order with commitment to the welfare of the last of the poor so that an equitable social order could be created. I once again congratulate Dr. K. Mukalla for being chosen for this year's Dr. Nayudamma Award, and then I also would like to compliment Dr. Jagadeesh and the team for doing this great job. Normally, people organize award and reward functions for the people who are in power. That is the practice of the day. And also nowadays, even statues also, some people who are living, they are not sure that their statues will be erected afterwards, after their demise. So some of them are getting those statues also organized now itself. But people who have done great service, they are eternal. Dr. Nayudamma is eternal. Mahatma Gandhi is eternal. Sardar Patel is eternal. Subramanya Bharati is eternal. Vivo Chidambaram Pillai, eternal. Veerapandya Kattabomman, eternal. We have the great Muthu Ramalinga Thevar, eternal. These scientists, they are also eternal because they have shown the light. But at the same time, you need to update the knowledge of our youngsters so that they can draw inspiration from the life, from the preachings and the teachings of these great people who have done a great job for the sake of the country, for the sake of the humanity. That's why I compliment Dr. Jagadeesh and his team for organizing this good function. I'm here in the campus of CLRI. CLRI is doing a great job. I hope that they will reach further heights, and I wish all the bright future for the youngsters here who are all students and also who are the budding scientists for a better future for you, better future for the country. Your future is better, that means country's future is better. The country will be safe and secure if you make advancements in science and technology further. This is my wish. Friends, thank you very much. Nandri, vanakkam.
For encouraging we the scientists to do well. Thank you, sir, for enlightening us by drawing parallels between Dr. Y. Nayudamma and Dr. M. Kella, the recipient of this Nayudamma Award. And thank you, sir, for your inspiring speech. Dr. M.Y.S. Prasad, the guest of honor of today's function, is the distinguished scientist and director of Satish Dhawan Space Research, Shar Sriharikota. Dr. Prasad received a doctoral degree in satellite communications from Birla Institute of Technology and Science. Dr. Prasad has long and exceptional experience in the Indian space program, steering various activities and programs of the ISRO for the last 37 years. He worked as Range Operations Director for the launches in 2008, 9 and 10, including PSLV C-11 carrying the Chandrayaan-1. He guided the realization of a number of new facilities in SDSC Shar, including new Mission Control Center inaugurated by the President of India on 2nd January 2012. He has been the chairman of the launch authorization boards from the PSLV C-20 mission onwards. Dr. Prasad has been a recipient of Padma Shri in 2014. I now request Dr. M.Y.S. Prasad to address the gathering.
Honorable Minister of Urban Development, Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation and Parliamentary Affairs, and respected Sri Venkaiah Naidu Garu, Dr. Kande Kolle Yumkella, UN Under Secretary General, Dr. Jagadeesh, Dr. Allam Apparao, Madam Deepa Venkat, and all the invited guests here. It's a very great occasion to participate in this function because Dr. Nayudamma is a great leader who had commitment that research and science should lead to the development of the society. And especially this function has got a special significance because this is being organized under the presidentship of another great son of Andhra Pradesh who had similar views that all the new technologies and science should be used for the development of the society. And Jagadeesh, Dr. Jagadeesh, as the director of the Center for Development Alternatives, has been consistently propagating the new ideas and how to especially save energy and go for alternate energy sources. Now, in fact, the people here, many of the youngsters must be knowing, Dr. Nayudamma was the first PhD holder in leather technology in the whole of India. And he used to take great pride in that. And his contribution to leather technology is great. He just brought about that whole business and the trade of leather from untouchability to the great respect in this country. And he managed and directed all the CSIR labs from the very young age. And in the management, he introduced very innovative schemes at a time when people are thinking government organizations will not have any innovative ideas. He had, in this campus, he had instituted a scheme called Profit is Yours, Loss is Ours. He invited the tanners to come here, bring their hides, use their chemicals and machines of the CLRI, and then improve their productivity, and if they get the profit, it will be to them, and if it is a loss, the lab will bear it. I do not know whether how many today even will take that type of daring step in any laboratory. And then he took up the great experiment of Karimnagar experiment, it's called. That is, adopt a very backward district, underdeveloped district, and use science and technology to take it to the higher level. And of course, he had established Center for Development Alternatives, which has instituted this award. These are the innovative ideas. And his papers, if you read, one of the best papers I read from him is called Root to Leaf Usage of All Our Agriculture Products. He had, our country being a big agricultural country, he said that the agriculture wastes after we take the food is a large number, and how to utilize them through industry so that there can be a lot of employment generation. For example, including equations, he had written in one of the articles that 25 industries can be started with the sugar cane production, where with the sugar cane production, with the pith coming from there, with the waste coming from there, with the bagasse coming from there, with the molasses coming from there, we can have 25 industries around the sugar cane. I think he's great, and just now we had one sentence from our Honorable Minister. He said, where there is a will, there is a way. He said, when you climb up a ladder, never forget the man holding the ladder for you, because when you want to come down, you may need him again. I think he had never forgotten any of the people, and once I read, when he was asked on phone by somebody, what is your caste? He said, by profession I belong to untouchable caste. I think there is a great statement from him, because he had identified himself practically with the tanners in this country. We have one commonality with Professor Nayudamma. We means the space people who work in the space department. As the Honorable Minister said, very near to this place, 80 kilometers from here, we have a 45,000-acre island, which is called Sriharikota, in which we manufacture some 700 tons of solid propellant and store some 600 to 700 tons of highly toxic liquid propellants, and conduct 5 to 6 launches per year with about 4,000 people working practically about 15 to 18 hours a day. This is the culture we have developed there. the commonality between Nayudamma's science and technology adoption to the villages and space starts from Professor Vikram Sarabhai. Vikram Sarabhai and Nayudamma were both close friends and contemporaries. Vikram Sarabhai taught us that if this country has to develop, the latest technologies have to be brought and they are to be utilized for the development of this country. That is how the whole space program he had oriented to bring the benefits of the latest technology to the society. Today, if you go to ATM, if you go to in a remote place, if you want to make a telephone call, or if you want to see your DTH cinemas, you need the space, and you need the space systems, you need the satellites. That is how we have oriented our work to bring all the benefits of the small amount of money which we are spending on space technology to bring the benefits to the society. And on the scientific and scientific development side, Professor Nayudamma took the same approach, and then he had brought great ideas to all scientists. In fact, his was the first voice among the scientists to say that scientists' main role is not to produce number of papers, hundreds of papers, but it is to bring the science to the use of the people. I think that is the spirit which we all have to inculcate, especially youngsters have to inculcate. You should bring the science to the development of the society. And if the society develops, the people develop, then the country, in Telugu, there is a great poet who said, Desamante matti kadoi, desamante manushuloy. That means the country means people. Its country doesn't mean just land. So if you bring your science results to the benefit of the people, country will automatically develop. And that development is the one for which all of us are working. And I especially appreciate Dr. Jagadeesh for bringing together such a great personality who had worked on the alternate energy sources and sustainable energy for all to this place. In fact, I visited Vienna. I used to represent India in the space matters for 11 years in Vienna, where the Office of Outer Space Affairs was there. And maybe about 25 to 30 times I visited the UN Center, where he works there. And the UN, UNIDO, the organizations there like UNIDO and the Sustainable Energy for All are doing great work for developing countries. And I especially appreciate Dr. Jagadeesh for bringing him Professor Yumkella for this award. And I congratulate him for getting this great honor. I should say for Yumkella that getting a Professor Nayudamma Award is a great honor which you are experiencing in India. And thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing with us your rich experience and also giving us the snippets of Dr. Nayudamma's life. Thank you, sir, for your motivating words. We have with us another distinguished personality as a guest of honor, Dr. Alam Appa Rao, who is the Director, C.R. Rao, AIMSCS, Hyderabad, and Chairman of NITTT and R, Chennai, India. Dr. Rao was the first Vice Chancellor of JNTUK, Kankinada, Andhra Pradesh. The Best Academician Award and the Best Researcher Award were bestowed on him by Andhra University. Indian Science Congress Association conferred him with Srinivas Ramanujam Birth Centenary Award Gold Medal for his significant and lifetime contribution to the development of science and technology in the country, specifically in the area of computational biology, software engineering, and network security. I now request Dr. Alam Appa Rao to address the gathering.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our chief guest, Sri Venkaiah Naidu garu, I am really fortunate. I think I am visiting to him almost after a gap of 30 years. When I was in the university, he was our student union president. To tell you honestly, the kind of zeal and energy which he exhibited then is what he is exhibiting now also. after a gap of 30 years. Kudos to you, sir, for a wonderful speech. My good friend and a great scientist working on the alternative energy systems, Dr. Jagadeesh, I thank him for inviting me here to be guest of honor to share the dais with leading luminaries of science. Dr. Prasad and I shared Kakinada equally because he was a student of Kakinada. I had the fortune of meeting him when the university conferred honorary doctorate on him on that day. Thank you, Dr. Prasad, for a wonderful speech, particularly the space science, what it is doing to the common man. That's what he was telling. There is a commonality between space science. Particularly, I try to put it, maybe it is a little exaggeration or whatever you might call it. Prasad is doing a wonderful service to this country, including this latest, our Mangalyaan. We need scientists like him. And also this young lady, I am really honored to share the dais with you, madam. I understand that you are doing wonderful service as managing trustee of Swarna Bharati. In fact, 2 days back, I and my wife is also here, we were watching one TV program where both of you were there. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to meet you.
We meet once in a way.
So whenever you meet, you give a TV program, is it? I thank Dr. Swami, I think he is sitting somewhere in the corner, for having brought me here, having showed me the way to come to this premises. Thank you, Dr. Swami Garu, for meeting me. Well, to be honest, I don't know much about leather technology, except that I am fascinated. I also felt so sorry when the science was raging. This man has met with very ghastly incident. Had he been alive, I was wondering what kind of future would have been for the Karmacharis of this country. I was also wondering for a long time, what is great about leather technology? Just now Dr. Prasad was mentioning that when someone asked his caste, he said, I belong to the caste of untouchables. So look at the greatness in him to confess that. As the former president, Dr. Venkatraman, said, he has truly become people's scientist because he was bothered about the plight of Karmacharis and tried to bring a turnaround in their lives. And again, Dr. Prasad mentioned that profit is yours and loss is ours. That's a very noble gesture. I don't know whether Government of India laboratories agree for that. Maybe he has given a bold statement. That's a wonderful thing and a wonderful personality. When Dr. Jagadeesh called me, I said, I am a computer science man, I don't know much about leather technology. He has told me one wonderful thing. Dr. Nayudamma foresaw, because he is a visionary, the IT explosion long back in 70s itself. I think computer science and information technology was at its infancy in those days. In 70s itself, it seems he used to tell his disciple or student, I don't know, Dr. Jagadeesh, your disciple or student?
I was close follower.
Close follower. It seems he used to tell Jagadeesh, Jagadeesh, you have to wind up your show of low-cost technology, because he is man of low-cost technology. Some of you might be receiving his emails always. He talks about alternative technologies, no-cost minerals. At that time he said, you watch, chips are coming which are of low-cost technology. That is the vision of Dr. Nayudamma. And Dr. Jagadeesh used to say, or tells me, that Nayudamma was deeply believed in the concept of technologies for humanity. Our Honorable Minister has mentioned about the facet of Nayudamma, how concerned he is or was about the fate of humanity. And he also said that there is a need to bring modern science to bear upon problems and needs of the rural poor. Again, that's what our Honorable Chief Guest has mentioned. Unless the science is useful to the people, there is no advantage to the society and no advantage to the country. Though internationally recognized as an organic chemist, He specialized in the complex polyphenol protein interactions upon which leather manufacturing is based. Dr. Nayudamma was known to be a practical technologist, another facet of Nayudamma. As director of the CLRI, from 58 to 71, I think he held the fort for 13 years, Nayudamma made important contributions to the development of India's leather technology. As I have put it earlier, Dr. Venkatraman, described by Nayudamma, was not only a scientist, but people's scientist. That is the honor given to Dr. Nayudamma, no less than a person like R. Venkatraman. Professor Elavarthi Nayudamma was born in 1922 on September 10th at Elavaru village of Guntur district of Andhra Pradesh. After graduating in industrial chemistry from Banaras Hindu University, he was with the Institute of Leather Technology, Madras, and Government of Madras deputed him for an advanced training in leather technology to UK in 46-47 and USA during 47-51. He worked under the renowned leather technologist Dr. Edwin R. Thays of Leh University in USA. Nayudamma started his association with CSIR CLRI in 51 and was a director, as our Honorable Minister mentioned, at an young age, maybe around 39 or 35. 35. And at that time, CLRI emerged, and still it is, one of the most renowned centers of leather research. He ensured that the CLRI has an effective liaison with the leather industry, thereby leveraging significant contributions in research and development and technology transfer. He was instrumental in the formation of Indian Heights and Skins Improvement Society, Indian Leather Fair Society, and Leather Club, and the Coromandel Chemicals for promoting the interests of the tanners in India. Professor Nayudamma introduced the adoption of backward districts program. Dr. Prasad mentioned about Karimnagar experiment, to change the face of underdevelopment through the application of science and technology. He had established a Center for Development Alternatives, which is in the safe hands of Dr. Jagadeesh now, who is doing a wonderful service in bringing the alternative technology to the benefit of most masses and societies. About his role as COSTED chairman, which is an international organization established for the promotion of science and technology in the developing countries. It's an important phenomenon. In fact, COSTED, I had heard about it in the 70s, which has done a wonderful service to the development of science and technology for India. He also held several important leadership positions, both national and international bodies, including that of DGCSIR, Secretary DST, Secretary DOS. He was also a DOS secretary for some time, and Vice Chancellor Jawaharlal Nehru University, Advisor UNDP, Governor International Development Research Center, IDRC. For all this, he was conferred Padma Shri. He would have got some other decorations also had he been alive. The fate has took him away from us. He also, in fact, he won Mahalanobis Award. Mahalanobis is a great statistician, the first statistician of this country, by Indian Science Academy. Unfortunately, he passed away in the year 85. At that time, again, former president said, from the soaring ascendancy of his pursuit of the knowledge, Nayudamma disappeared in a flash into the unfathomable depth of the unknown. This is the observation made by Venkatraman. And he also used to enthuse the scientists. In fact, one of the anecdotes which I have noted, he used to tell his younger colleagues who are disappointed, be a sport, within quotes. You will get your chance. These are the words he used to say to encourage the youngsters who are a little disappointed during their tenure. The smile behind that exhortation was sincere and reassuring. The man who possesses a charm was Nayudamma, who was then the Director General of CSIR. In fact, CSIR had lots of problems in those days. Minister said, in fact, most of the scientific institutions used to have lots of problems, particularly ICAR, CSIR. That was the period he was there. and he has assured the younger scientists to carry on the good work for the benefit of the country. In fact, he is coming back to India from USA. I think the story Jagadish knows. It appears he accidentally met Dr. Bhatnagar, in whose name there is a young scientist award nowadays. We call it Bhatnagar Fellowship, in Rome. Then he was head of CSIR. He invited him for dinner that evening, and then after being impressed with the young Nayudamma, he persuaded him to return to Madras with the assurance that Nayudamma was being earmarked for the leadership of CLRI. That made him to come to Chennai. After joining CLRI, Nayudamma quickly introduced new concepts, particularly as they applied to the traditional Indian leather industry. And after the sad demise of some of the colleagues here of CLRI know, the then director, Dr. Das, Nayudamma was the obvious choice to succeed Dr. Das in the year 1959. In a rare exhibition of leadership and foresight, he established an unassailable rapport with the Indian leather industry within a short period. CLRI and the industry had a symbiotic growth largely due to the plans that Nayudamma, ably assisted by his jealous and excellent colleagues, implemented during his long and eventful tenure as director. If today the industry looks to CLRI as its technological strength, it is largely because of the foundation laid by Dr. Nayudamma. His name became synonymous with the upswing that an ancient and craft-ridden industry experienced in becoming a modern technology-driven, export-oriented industry. Nayudamma could not contend with one segment of science and technology in India. He was noticed, and his elevation to the post of DGCSIR in 1971 was logical upward movement in the life of first-class scientists who had that Jing thing in him to make things go and proceed as a unique style of management. As our chief guest said, as a DGCSIR at an young age of 49, and perhaps he served for the longest term, like 6 years. I think that was the longest in the period of any DGCSIR. He has left an indelible impression on the headquarters at New Delhi, one of the largest industrial research agencies in the world. Quite simply, the man was far ahead of his times. Dr. Jagadeesh invited me for the book release function. So unfortunately, I could not attend. A biography of Nayudamma. He has created, in fact, the story, who has written the biography, I don't know the name, but I think he has equated him with James Boswell, who has written the life of Johnson. In fact, the book is so acclaimed. The storytelling is almost makes the reader receives the impression of walking with the man in flesh and blood. I think all of you should be fortunate to have that. Maybe the center can do something about it, because such great books are rare nowadays. It should be made available. Born as the eldest child of simple and illiterate parents in a remote village, Nayudamma grew up in a rural environment until he went to Benares in the university. Then joined, I think, I don't know, it may not be out of context to say that he's joined as a scientist here, and then in those days the salaries were so low, particularly for the scientists and teachers. But sheer merit and hard work won for him an opportunity for training in England. And Nayudamma went to US to pursue MS and PhD in other technology. In fact, somewhere he mentioned that he was spotted by the then principal, I don't know which place,